So actually, we as a consumer, we don't
Are you
really know
aware
our
of the
rights.
average fee per unit?
All of you are kings and queens in your own home with your own throne, and you can sit up and decide and let the business continue to woo you.
Over the years, businesses capitalized on the low level of consumer awareness of their rights and responsibilities, and the mandate and operations of CPC, the Consumer Protection Council, to abuse consumers with impunity. The enormity of challenges in various sectors of the Nigerian economy called for special attention from the CPC, which is the apex consumer protection agency of the federal government of Nigeria. In the last 3 years, CPC deployed all available resources to stem the tide of widespread consumer abuse, reduce impunity of businesses, and ultimately ensure that consumers receive value for their money. The Council, under the leadership of its Director General, Mrs. Dupe Atoki, took on various organizations and multinational companies through a number of sectorial interventions aimed at providing faster and widespread redress to consumer complaints. In a bid to be accountable to Nigerian consumers, the Director General, Mrs. Atoki, made a public presentation of the Council's 2016 annual report. The occasion was the Council's first ever public presentation of an annual report and an extension of a joint media training held by CPC and the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, for media practitioners in Lagos. Welcome to another episode of Consumer Voice, the in-house program of the Consumer Protection Council, CPC, that tells you all about your rights as a consumer and how to enforce them whenever you feel they have been breached. Today's special episode of Consumer Voice brings you the proceedings public presentation of the CPC's 2016 annual report held in Lagos. First, we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll go straight to events as they unfolded at the public presentation. Stay with us. Welcome back. As earlier hinted, the CPC Consumer Voice crew was on ground at the 2-day media training and public presentation of the CPC's 2016 annual report, where the representatives of UNIDO, Ms. Ifeyi Ubebe, fired the first shot by speaking on the partnership of CPC and UNIDO.
UNIDO and the European Union recognize the objective of the Consumer Protection Council to enhance the consumers' understanding and their capacity to react effectively on quality issues. We support the drive of the Council to also enlarge its capacity to lift up the quality offered by Nigerian enterprises. This event is one example of such a partnership that we have with CPC.
The high point of the event was when the Director General CPC, Mrs. Dupe Atoki, gave her opening remarks and then proceeded to publicly present the Council's 2016 annual report.
I will be very shortly presenting the maiden edition of the 2016 annual report of the Consumer Protection Council, which is a reflection of the work we have done to promote and protect Nigerian interests. In executing its mandate in that wise, the Council in the last 3 years, under my watch, has made considerable progress in protecting consumers in several sectors of the economy towards combating consumer abuse, curbing impunity of businesses, and generally ensuring consumers get value for money. When I assumed office in May 2013, consumer abuse in almost all sectors was very pervasive. The council, therefore, in determining its 2013-2014, again, there were no strategic plan in place when I assumed office. I had to develop a strategic plan, because without it, you can't work. Those of us who are in the private sector, we know that will be our guiding part. We must have a strategic plan with a timeline and a deliverable every year. And so we go back every year to check, are we within the deliverables of every year? So we identified a three-pod stand to fast-track delivery of its mandate. One, via what we call sectoral intervention, enhance consumer education and awareness and collaboration with other sectors. So, because of the pervasive nature of the abuse, we decided that to fast-track and clear sectorally, we intervene, and so we take a big player in a sector. We investigate, interrogate, and find out what the problem is, and we issue orders to that effect. The orders, when implemented, has a way of modifying the behavior of all the other players in that sector. And that's what has happened in the food and beverage sector. After the tussle and Ulabalu, you take your bottle of those cans now, they are clean. They are no more half-filled. And you hardly find foreign substances in them anymore. Now, that business has translated its effect on everyone, because all the other players now were cutting CPC. Oh, we need you to see what we've done this. Because if you do that to the leader of the pack, be sure that the others will be. So, in the food and beverage sector, we can say clearly from the records that we keep that the complaints have been minimized. And so we are good to go for that sector. And we look at other sectors. So that's what we meant when we said we had a strategic plan of sectoral intervention to provide speed and spread to our consumer in redress. And it has worked. I found it so. The second one was I did a survey to find out, do consumers know their rights? Do they know what CPC does? Do they know the mandate? And the figures were disheartening. Consumers never even know what CPC is. They never heard of it. And how would they even know what their rights are? So one of our mandates is to educate consumers of their rights. So I decided there has to be some level of aggressive consumer enlightenment. Coming from my background of fighting for human rights, if you don't know your rights, then those who are fighting for you will labor for a long time. But if you know, you can be assertive, you can fight it, and when it gets stagnated, then you call those who will free it up. And so we looked at it, and I'm glad somebody said one of the, what did Chris say, challenges, and somebody says lack of funding. Yes. We are poorly, very poorly funded. Poorly. And I don't always like to use that as an excuse, because those who even get billions keep saying they are not funded. And so those of us who don't get anything yet, when we say they are not funded, nobody listens to you. And so I decided, in the characteristics way in which I do things, I would find a way around that problem. I will not use it as a signpost everywhere I go. You know, we don't have fund. So, consumer education, do we sit on top of CPC and shout? How do we get it? The media also need their support in terms of keeping their business going. No media will publicize you for free because they also have their business. And so we obviously need huge fund, and of course you will support me that media intervention is very expensive. And so I went fundraising all over the world. I refused to take funds from businesses because that would have been the easiest thing to do, because they are very rich,